Hey folks, Craig Hawk, Small Fry Aquatics. I don't actually know how to greet you. We're all stuck inside. I hope you're healthy and doing well. I absolutely do. I was going to say something like, happy pandemic, but that's too flip and even too sarcastic for me. I've been out of action for a while. You may or may not have noticed. It's finally time for me to get back in the swing of at least doing these videos and talking to you guys again. I'm gonna try and do this in one take. Okay, take two. I don't know if I should just say it real fast and get it out or what. My wife died March 9th. Take three. Okay, at least the hard sentence is out. She had suffered a stroke and was battling back from that and caught an infection that at that time we thought was either pneumonia or, quote, something else, and essentially succumbed to that. I won't go so far as to say it's the coronavirus because people have guessed, but we didn't have test kits, and there you go. So here we go. For a while I thought about sort of just exiting the hobby and letting that be that. It's not like that hasn't happened before. I'd left the hobby, when kids were little, when I went off to college, when, I don't know, different things had happened. Each time my wife was the one that eased me back into it again, and I'm gonna let her ease me back into it one more time. So enough of the sadness. I know she doesn't want sadness. I don't either. So let's get on with things. I'm going to bring you a video, probably not the most earth-shattering one. It's on Cory doors and how they can help your tank. And it just gives me a reason to talk to you. Hope you're all well. Take care. Love y'all. Guess that's it. On with the video. So hey folks, here we are at a 40 breeder tank. This has the predominant amount of my short fin super reds. And as you can see in, let me get my finger in here somewhere. Right inside of here and inside of here are two queen arabesques. On top are skunk Corys. Oh, come on finger. Yeah, there were skunk Corys. You can actually see a Goldie pleco hiding in the back. I'm not going to try and point him out. I do like the fact though that the plecos are a little on the hungry side, so now everybody's kind of coming out to see what's going on. Is there food in here? Is there not? What is this guy up to? There's a few more queen arabesques, well, one other queen arabesque. There should be 4 in this tank. There's also a couple of cheese creeks in here. So my point on this is the tank's fairly clean. What you're actually seeing on the bottom is some debris from the wood that's in the tank and a tiny bit of uneaten food. So when you choose your Corydoras carefully, they will do a lot toward keeping your tank clean. And that's what these guys have done. Now I'm going to throw some green beans in a second, and then we'll see just what kind of a mess these guys can make. But in the meantime, I'm going to drop down a tank. And this is another, excuse my hand on the camera, this is another 40 breeder tank. This is where I've got some of my long fin albinos, some long fin green dragons, couple of long fin browns, and a myriad of albino Corys. Now, you see how active the albino Corys are. That's a good thing. But it's a bad thing in as much as if the fish are spawning in here, they will absolutely eat the eggs of the plecos and eat the fry. Not intentionally, but that's just what they do. But this is just a grow out tank, so I knew that, I expected that, and no real big deal there. Okay, and this is another 40 long The glass was unacceptably dirty, so I had to clean that off before I started filming for you. These are 397s in the caves. And there are plenty of Corys in here. It's just right now they're very quiet Corys and they're hiding, as opposed to what I showed you in the albino tank. I'm sort of taken surprise here. I did not expect to see a long-fin super red. A little on the thin side, but they're nonetheless. All right, and let's take a get a few albinos, some green lasers. You might be able to spot out. Those are 066s in the back. There should be about 6 of them in here. And they are very, very large. And I'm going to be coming in here and getting these Corys out. So last but not least, I'm going to move you over to the 046 tank. Hang on. So this is the 046 tank. And you'll see the Corys in here. And again, these are way too large to actually have in with zebras. It's going to be time to move them soon because these guys will absolutely eat at it. Whatever eggs and fry they can manage to find. It's not that the Corys are malicious, they're just doing what they do. So Corys have a huge value, but you have to pick and choose, and it's incumbent upon you to get the results you want. As you can see, these tanks are just this side of spotless. Let's see if we can find the Cory over here. And there they are. And yes, I run let me back up a little bit. I run a power filter on here. I've got 1, 2 hang on the back filters. Let's go along the top. I got 1, 2, 3 sponge filters in here. And like I say, there's a power filter out here on the floor as well. Do I like clean water? Yes. Do my zebras like clean water? Well, I think so. There should be 15 of them in here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come through and I'm going to feed all these tanks, and I'm going to show you what a mess they can make, and then I'm going to come back tomorrow and show you what or later on today actually, and show you what the tanks look like. I want to show you one more. Hang on. We are at the longfin albino tank, and yeah, there are a couple of longfin super reds in here too. And Corys and shrimp, etc., etc., etc. And again, the Corys do an excellent job of cleaning up. Here's the remnants of one of the hatches, and I'll go to the one next to it. This is actually a 333 tank. Now you're not going to see a heck of a lot down here other than a clean tank. There are some eggs, some wigglers in the tube right there, and then the last hatch of 333s are scurrying around inside this breeder box right here. We're back at the shark fin super red tank. One thing I didn't mention, and I'm going to right now, so I put in green beans for the super reds because they are predominantly a vegetarian fish. However, none of the other fish in here are vegetarians. The 260s are not. None of the Corys are. So I already threw in some brine shrimp, which has been eaten up with, I would say with relish, but I didn't put relish in here, nor did I put mustard or ketchup. You do have to feed those Corys. I don't mean it to make it sound like they are just there as, you know, garbage dumps to suck up the waste. No, you have to put some food in for them. But they will eat a lot of the things that the other fish do not eat. And they will eat some vegetables, just not a tremendous number of them. And we're going to come back later on and we're going to see about that. So again, let's go down here. Green beans, the brine shrimp is pretty much gone already. There's some dragons and some browns in there. And that's a good shot of the albino Corys. snapping up all of the brine shrimp that got caught up in the Java weed. And they will do that for you. Now this one was only brine shrimp, because other than that one guy right there, everybody else in here is carnivorous. Same with these guys down here. They've already taken care of all the food, and it hasn't even been 5 minutes yet. Now the 46 tank won't be as fast. You'll find a little bit laying around, but not much. And let's see. This is a 397 tank. They are not. There's some other fish in here that are vegetarians, but I can't remember the L number. Anyway, there are some. Let's see if I can get a flashlight in here. So some 397s right there. That's about all I'm going to get there. This is a long fin super red tank. Just getting a little bit going, and they actually got transplanted yesterday. And there are no Corys in here, but there will be. All right, hang on. Okay, so we're back at the 333 tank. Those are not eggs inside of there, that's actually food. And I didn't put any green beans in here. I went completely with brine shrimp for these guys. And now we will stop by the, this is always the fun one. These are the longfin albinos. And these guys just, they're like shrimp. There's just so many of them in here, but you don't see them until you throw the food in. And we got Corys. We must have, I don't think I'd be exaggerating if I said 5 different generations of Corys in here. And again, I do feed them. I throw brine shrimp in. Actually, most of the action and spawning happens way in the back behind that Java weed. I would tell you probably 3/5 of the tank is Java weed. And so I throw a ton of brine shrimp back there. I'm gonna try and show you. It looked like some fry were coming out, but not much that I can see, so let's go back here. And so when I need some Corys for a small job, like perhaps a breeder box or some raising out some guppies or something like that, I do collect the eggs and I do breed them out here. As you can see, there's a pair of guppies in here. And there's some fry in there too from a previous drop. Down here are, now this is where it gets kind of interesting. There's some long fin albinos in here. And I'm going to start separating out, and there's also some, oh God, I'm struggling with my big boy words here, 007 plecos in the cave back there. But anyway, I'm going to start taking out the short fin albinos and just leave the long fins in here and just see if that's all we can get, or just, you know, long fins from this point forward. They are pretty. And so there you go. Let's go back up here. So the point of this video, you can have pretty tanks. No one thing actually does it. You need filtration of various kinds. This one has box filters, sponge filters, hang-on back filters, and I throw the occasional outside canister filter on it. You then need help from things like snails, maybe, Corys, maybe, shrimp, In other words, there's a whole biosystem here to break this stuff down. And then occasionally you're gonna have to get in there with either doing some siphoning, or you're gonna get your plunger out, or your turkey baster, or whatever your tool is. So, well, apparently this video has gone on long enough. Edgar has come down to tell me that I filmed too long. It's a story, bud. Yeah, he usually comes down and howls at me when I've been here too long. So, alright everybody, thanks for watching. We're going to put a lid on this, and I'm going to go see what Edgar's up to. Take care.